Thank you for having us in the studio today. It's lovely to be here. It's an amazing space.
Really nice to have you here, guys.
Yeah, and just seeing your work all up is just beautiful. And
Thank you.
I think it'd be really lovely for you to understand a bit more about your artistic process and how your paintings come to life. Seeing them, the depth and all the layers is just beautiful. So it'd be great to get a bit more of a share and understanding of how you get to that point.
Yeah, so well, I start off with a few layers of gesso, and then each painting really starts with what we might call our ugly phase, where lots of colour goes on, and then it's just a process then of stripping away and adding and stripping away and adding, and that kind of push and pull goes on and on and on really. Sometimes it happens quicker than other times, until I start to get a feeling of where I want to go with that painting, and so, you know, I might draw into it or add other shapes and then decide that they're not really going to be part of the painting, but I might leave a hint of them underneath. So like with this one over here, you can't see it, but or maybe this one, you can see other things coming through, and I kind of leave that to kind of show itself. So there's almost like a story going on underneath, a hint of something else happening, and it gives it a bit of history, I think. So so yeah, and I just keep going like that. I might add that's with acrylics, and then I might use charcoal or pastel and draw in eventually when I start getting to where I want to go, and then like here I've drawn over the silver leaf, yeah, and that's
so your way with the process is it's really kind of spontaneous, and the painting changes as you work on it.
Yeah.
So would you say you start with a vision or it starts with the colours?
Yeah, I think my main the main jumping off point really is colour. So the colour would be the thing that gets me going.
Yeah.
And I will have done some sketches, or maybe not so much sketches but collages usually.
Yeah.
To give me a feel of how those colours work and the forms that I might want to use and the mood that I'm going for. And they are landscapes, so they're often landscape based, but sometimes you can start off with one of these, I don't know, you can start off doing something and then your painting just goes off into another tangent completely. So you just don't know how it's going to go, because it becomes like quite an intuitive process. You're responding to the materials and to what's going on.
And your landscapes are like imagined landscapes and combinations of places.
Yeah, they're they're based on memory but also imagination. So, you know, they're removed from the actual memory, but they'll always have elements of places that I've been.
Yeah.
And it's about holding on to that memory and the feeling that I had from that time there. And
what does it mean to you to be an artist and to be able to paint every day?
It's amazing. Best thing ever. I just feel so lucky that I can do it. You know, I trained in the 1980s, and although I carried on doing art as a business in other ways, I had children and I worked, and you know, I kind of felt that I'd left it behind for a while. So to come back to it and do it like this in my own studio is just, it's like the dream come true really. So it's great.
It's amazing. And being in your studio, do you work to music, and does music inspire you?
Music does really inspire me, but also just recently I've really enjoyed not having any sound at all, not even the radio. I think there's just been too much noise going on.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how I feel, but working in silence is just, that's a bit of a, it doesn't always happen here because I've got neighbours and they're small gardens, but when you do get that, it's lovely.
Yeah, drift away.
Yeah, and you're just there with your thoughts, aren't you? But then other times I get music on and I'm dancing, so it just depends on how I'm feeling.
And does that come out in the colour as well?
Yeah, it can do. You can do. And I've even put things like, I put Justin Bieber on at times, just anything to kind of, you know, get me in the mood. But other times I put jazz on or something quite punky, so it just depends really.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And then how do you come to the titles of your work? So does that emerge as, you know, through the process or at the end when you're looking at the piece?
Yeah, at the end, I'd say. Sometimes it's there at the beginning. If the painting goes very smoothly, where I haven't got too much going on, so every now and then a painting can just happen and you've got a title in your head, you know where you want to go with it. And I would say 1 out of 10 paintings happens like that. But the rest of the paintings, the title comes at the end, and I'll usually write down a list of words, or I'll go into my thesaurus, or I've got a poetry book and I'll look at poems, or I'm listening to music, I'll think about the song title, even books that I'm reading at the time. There was a painting called Ordinary Thunderstorms, which was a book title. So it just depends what's going on in the background, really.
Yeah, lovely.
Mm.
Well, thank you.
You're
you for
very
having us.
welcome. Thank you for asking, inviting me.